Hey guys, good morning. This is Ginger. Welcome back to the farm. So we've got Jigsaw back out. He is up here at the trailer. So we're going to do some grooming before we go into the arena to start working. So one thing that I want to get him used to is coming straight out and going straight to the grooming box, because not every time I work with him, I'm going to be working with him. So I don't want him to already go and get started being used to having to be worked first. Now, I understand as a stud colt and as a young horse, that may be what has to happen. You know, he's, especially during springtime, especially when hormones are really kicking in, that may have to happen. But if I can go ahead and start getting him to where he's just used to going and getting tied up and getting groomed right off the bat and start building that repetition, not reputation, even though we may both have a reputation before all this is over with. Just kidding, not you. You're a good boy. Anyway, I want him to start getting used to just being tied up and groomed and just being chill right off the bat. So let's go get some grooming in. So he's quiet. His leg was caught. I know, I got your phone out. I know. And so now we're going to go to work. Ready? Okay, let's go. Yeah. That's a nice boy. That's a very nice boy. Yeah. Grab it. Come get it. Come and get it. What's that? Let's put it up there. Grab it. Huh? Not walk the top of me. Thank you. Knock that whole barrel down. That's what you're going to do. And scare yourself. There you go. Good job. Good job. Good job. There we go. Right. There it is. So good. Good boy. Girl. Girl. Hello, if you like. That's a good boy. Good boy. Oh, yeah, got itchy. Oh, yeah, that's a good boy. Oh. Good boy. I'm glad you got all your cleanliness off. Good, so here I want to kind of talk about what we went through. Today he's getting a little bit more confident, so he's getting a little bit more pushy, so I keep having to push him back out of my space on and off all day today, which honestly, since I got him, I have not really had to worry about that. But it is springtime and he is getting closer to the girls. He could smell them, and you know, as he gains confidence, you know, stallions are going to be stallion. So we had to work on him backing out of my space a little bit more today than we've ever had to before, but he wasn't bad or anything. And I started letting him play around with the saddle pad. You know, I don't know if you've watched any of the last videos, but he was a lot more fearful of the saddle pad and didn't really want to play with it very much. But today he was quite curious with it, and he really wanted to step on it and stomp on it, which is great because he has shown that he's not the biggest fan of things being over his feet. So by him wanting to play with it and step on it, I was really, happy with that. So here I'm just, every time he acknowledges it and wants to come towards it, I kind of release, on that, so he gets a little bit more brave about it. And he did really, really well, and it wasn't hard to go and start throwing this on him after a few minutes. I mean, it literally took less than 5 minutes to go through this whole process, on both sides. So we just did a lot of, rubbing, and of course I do have to watch his mouth, because there's always this balance. I want him to touch it and play with it, but also I don't want him, to grab a hold of me either. And as he progresses, as he gets better and better with this, I'll not allow him mouthing on it, less and less. I do, also try to remember he's only 1.5 years, and I let, my mares play with it, before I put it on them. And so I'm letting him play with it, in the same kind of manner, but I am being, very mindful of where my hands are, and to make sure that he doesn't, get a hold of them, and keeping the heavy gloves on. But he finally just kind of got bored with it and was noticing something else there, and so I was really, happy with how he was, coming along and starting to be okay with this being on him. Okay, pay attention. Hello, I'm over here. Hello, right here. Hello, right here. Thank you. You're kidding. No, I don't want to take it. Your friends are over there. Naturally, what you do on one side, you must do on the other, and remember that you may have a totally different horse on this side. But no, he was still the same. He still just kind of wanted to play around with it. He tried to block a few times, but nothing too bad. And he was actually better with it coming on him from this side than he was the other side. But again, every time it flopped or fell or anything like that, I let him play with it and stomp on it. And he was very happy with that, and was gaining more and more confidence and being secure with it on him, each and every time. And again, I had to keep reminding him to stay, out of my space. But this is the first time that it just sat on him, and he was quite calm with it, and didn't have any troubles. And there it fell. And now, if y'all remember from previous videos, literally, if I just tossed that on the ground, he would spook and try to leave. And so him just not even, hardly acknowledging it on him, I was very happy with. And so I took him and let him go, eat grass and play and do some other things after that, to let him know that he did really, really well. And then I'm going to just go and I'm going to put it, back on him, and then I grab the saddle, the bareback pad that has the girth on it, and I'm going to go and place that up there, and we'll see how he handles that. And again, it fell off a second time. He was very good about it, and he was actually more interested in getting over there to the new pad, which last session he did not want to have anything to do with that. So very happy with how much he wanted to tear all my stuff up today. But that's what this stuff is for. So let him get all that out on this kind of stuff before he gets introduced to my real saddles. And he had a grand time with it, but the noises and stuff just didn't bother him near as much as they have, you know, in the past. Like, he was really progressing along really well. And so I'm going to start putting the saddle pad over on him, you know, from the offside. One, he likes the offside a little bit better, which is kind of odd, but, you know, that's just him. And also, that's the side that the girth is going to hang on. So I'm not slinging it up from the other side, causing him to, you know, have any spooks or scares. And we did that, you know, a few times, and he was just really good about it. And here he tried to give me a little sass. As you see, that is not anything at all. I don't even really consider that sass. And I'm watching his head, making sure he's not going to try to nip or bite. And I'm staying off to the side, so in case he did try, you know, to spook or step over. Luckily for me, he seems to be a horse. He does not want to step on you. He wants to move off and away. Some of my mares, they don't give two shits. They'll run right over you like they could care less. But he is not. He's not like that. He definitely will try to maneuver around you, which I think is a great trait. So hopefully, if anything ever happens, he's not going to stomp all over me if I ever fall off of him. And but he did really, really well. And so I'm going to let him end here. He was okay with that hanging off the side of him. That it did not scare him. It just kind of more annoyed him. And then he really took it out on this saddle pad. So I'm going to let him call that a win and have that, so that he knows that he won. He beat that thing up
really well
and
with that.
He got the best of it.
And so I wanted to stop before he got too frustrated, because he wanted to kill the saddle pad when he pulled it off, but he wasn't scared of it. So I let him, you know, work on destroying it for a few minutes, and then let him stop there so he felt like he had a win. And then let him eat a little bit of grass, and then he's going to get tied back up to the horse trailer while I go put Georgia up. She's doing really well, standing over there on the patient's pole, being really mad because she can't come over here and bother us. But so ended on a really great note so far anyway. So I left him across the yard. This is the farthest I've walked away from him, while I came over here and put Georgia back up. She was on the patient's pole while we worked together. He's doing pretty good. I don't have a hay bag with him, so he's just having to do it all on his little lonesome. He's handling it fairly well. I was worried he was going to knock all my crap over, but he's not bothering it at the moment. Yeah, doing really well.
Guys, okay, so I'm back inside now because it's starting to get hot. Sorry, my dogs are being a pain. So Jigsaw did really well this morning. This is probably like his best session. We worked on the tarp. He like walked right across the tarp. He played with it. He knocked the saddle pads around. He knocked it off the ferrule. And no fear today. And so I was really happy to see that his more playful side is coming out, which with young horses, and especially with young stud horses, that brings its own set of issues that you have to start working through. But I'm glad to see that there's no fearful side of him, you know, really today when it came to that kind of stuff. And and we even practiced with him wearing the saddle pad and a bareback pad, which I did not tighten out. I didn't put the girth on or anything. I just let it hang and let him just pull it off. And then he really tried to tear it up and play with it. And so I let him in there because I wanted him to feel like he won with that saddle pad, because he has been kind of a little bit more on the fearful side, like, oh my god, you know, kind of thing. So I let him beat it up afterwards, and we kind of stopped there, and then I went, took him out, let him eat some grass, enjoy the sunshine, and then I tied him back up to the horse trailer to let him stand there for a little bit. And I actually kind of expected it to take longer than it did. I even walked away from him. I went and put Georgia back up because she had also been tied out, and he was very calm, and he just stood right at the trailer. He didn't try to move around a lot. He didn't paw. He didn't, you know, try to leave. He stood very quietly. And so when I got back over there, I just went ahead and just put him up, because he was calm, he was quiet, he was relaxed, and I was like, good, like there's no need for him to stay there any longer. So it was a great week with Jigsaw. So maybe next week I might actually like put the girth on him. I've been taking ropes and putting them around his belly and kind of, you know, holding it firm there up against his girth line. So maybe we'll try the girth on next week, or maybe not. You know, he's only 1.5 years. We have plenty of time. I'm not worried about, you know, timelines with that. But I do want to keep his mind busy, because he is a busy boy. And so yeah, so it was a great day.